I titled my sermon this morning, Finding Our Way, because this is what we're attempting to do. Really, life is about attempting to find our way all of the time. But right now, the stakes feel higher. They feel higher than ever. I've been wishing for and looking for some kind of guide or tool, something to help me make sense of the nonsense going on in our country and within our government. I've been looking for help to figure out the next right thing for me, for us to do as we combat the forces of ignorance, greed, and inhumanity that abound. It was through the children's book by Deepa Iyer, the one that we heard this morning, that I first encountered her work and her wisdom. Imagine my surprise and delight to discover that her book, Social Change Now, A Guide for Reflection and Connection, is published by our own UU publishing house, Skinner Press, a part of the UUA's Beacon Press. This book builds on the justice work of other legends and leaders and change agents across generations and was influenced by Ella Baker's model of collective leadership. You may remember that Reverend Tim preached about Ella Baker just a few weeks back. If you missed that service, I invite you to check it out on our congregation's YouTube channel. When I picked up Iyer's book, Social Change Now, it was like being handed a map. Here is a tool that I'd been looking for. So thank you, Skinner House and Beacon Press. I think this resource might be just what we need to help orient ourselves for the long-haul work we face together in these ongoing challenging times. One of the things that most excites me about Iyer's work is how the map, as she calls it, the one that she created, overlaps with our own Unitarian Universalist values. Here is her image from the back of her book of a sample map with language that you will recognize from our story this morning. You heard them. The circles say weavers, experimenters, frontline responders, visionaries, builders, caregivers, disruptors, healers, storytellers, and guides. Do any of these names for ways to build community with others call to you? Any that make you say, oh, that could be me? Maybe there's more than one that you're curious about, or one or two that you know would help you grow in your own capacity to serve and help in growing your own spirit. At the center of Iyer's map, there's a place to fill in your values, that which is guiding you or motivating you or grounding you. I know that we can all think of values that we would put in the center. In fact, we have shared values that fit right there. Here is our UU's valued graphic, adopted last June at our UUA General Assembly, with our shared articulated UU values. They are justice, interconnection, equity, generosity, transformation, and pluralism, with love at the center. Do you remember the acronym for our values that we explored together earlier this winter? The way that we can help ourselves remember these values? You start with the first letter of each word. Justice insists everyone gets to play. This helps us remember the values when the flower image isn't in front of us. J for justice. I for insists and interconnection, E for everyone and equity, G for gets and generosity, and P for play and pluralism. Now, here are the two images together. I find combining Ayer's map and our UU values to be beautiful, inspiring, and helpful. Ayer's map and theory makes space for all the ways each of us can show up with our different skills, with our different interests and abilities and ages and varying access to resources. It helps us understand, to know in our hearts and in our bones that we matter. She makes a place in the circle for everyone to find a way to be part of making a difference together. Ayer's model helps us remember that there are many ways we can each contribute to the common good. Her way of visioning our combined efforts says we are all needed. And there is more than one way to engage, more than one way to contribute, more than one way to help. It can be challenging to remember this when dominant culture can make it seem like there's only one way or only one right way to participate. The dominant culture can tell us overtly and covertly to be afraid of each other, to keep the circle small and known, to stick to what you know and who you know, and to protect ourselves alone. We need to remember and help each other to remember that this simply is not true. We need to practice valuing the many different ways we and others show up. We need to embrace our diversity with intention and with our actions. You and I can show up in the ways that call to each of us, that is best for us in the moment, the way that our resources allow or support us to. And we can choose a different way to show up tomorrow. We just need to keep showing up in a multitude of ways, with love and without judging ourselves or each other for how we show up on any given day. I've just started working with a small group in our congregation to begin the process of asset mapping. We are looking at ways to identify and document our congregation's strengths and resources and capabilities, focusing on what our community has here already. We want to know our assets, and by this I mean we want to know who knows how to do what, and what resources do we have as a congregation so that we can access these with ease, especially in times of urgent need. This project is something we will be talking about more in the coming months, but if you would like to know more about it or get involved helping with asset mapping, please come and speak to me. Ayer's way of envisioning our shared responsibilities and our shared leadership and our centering of our UU values helps us stay in touch. It helps us stay in touch with and remember our shared humanity here in our congregation and beyond. It helps us remember that we need each other. It helps us remember to help each other. To help each other. I want to tell you a story about the power of remembering to help. Sometime this past February, I noticed a small black sign with white lettering that had been placed at the entrance of my neighborhood off of 250 West. It was low enough to the ground that you might not even notice it, but the black background and the white letters made it stand out. It read simply, "Help each other." It made me feel so good to read those words and to see that sign. It just buoyed me. It let me know that there were kindred souls nearby who were amplifying a powerful reminder to everyone who saw that sign. I was also really curious about who put that sign there. Where did it come from? The sign stayed there by the side of the road for a couple of weeks, and then one day it was gone. And I was sad not to see it there anymore. I realized that seeing it every day was bringing me comfort. I kept thinking about it, and I told several people about the sign and its message, and I asked if anyone knew anything about a campaign with signs like this, but no one did. But the image did not leave me. So simple, so uncontroversial. Help each other. So the other day, I went on the internet to see if I could find out anything about this mysterious sign. And it didn't take me long to uncover a story about an artist in Chicago, J.B. Daniel, who made these signs at the start of the pandemic and placed them as art installations all around Greater Chicago. In front of houses, in front of one of the Unitarian churches in the Chicago area named the Unity Temple, in front of an Amazon distribution site, a prison, in nature, in front of a police station. He also made art installations with many of these signs, all saying the same thing: help each other, and invited people to take a sign from the installation and place it somewhere. This project is ongoing, and Help Each Other signs have been placed all over our country. I imagine that this is how the one I saw near my neighborhood came to be there. So here are just a few of JB's images of his signs from his website. Pretty powerful, huh? The power of good in a few small words, reminding us of our shared humanity, calling us to the best versions of ourselves, offering hope and connection, reminding us of the importance of caring for others in our human family. And we have this in our congregation too. There are so many examples, but here is one I want to lift up today. Last Sunday, our own member and artist, Flame Bilyeu, came to me and said she was hoping to be part of the upcoming demonstrations and protests for democracy like the one we had yesterday. But due to her own health, she wasn't sure she would be physically up to actually attending the demonstration. But just in the way that I've been suggesting this morning, she had an idea of another way she could be part of a circle of support. She asked if she might use the social hall and create signs for others to carry who could attend the protests. Yes, I said, what a great idea. And so we put the word out. We put it out in our congregation, and Flame reached out to other artists, and these people met here last Friday, and they made posters together. This is a living example, like our map and story earlier, of everyone not needing to be a demonstrator or a frontline responder, but finding other ways just as important and powerful to support our community's well-being. Artists, creators, community care providers, all of us working for the common good, each doing what we can and feeling good about our contributions and grateful for the ways that others are engaging and contributing, even if their ways are different from our own. Yesterday's demonstrations and protests around our country and even in other countries were important and powerful and energizing and necessary. And oh my goodness, I was so grateful to see people coming together to support one another in defending our First Amendment, in speaking truth to power, in showing that we care and that we oppose what is happening and that it must not continue. My call to each of us this morning is to keep showing up, to keep working together, to keep helping each other. Here and outside of these walls, we need each other now more than ever, and the world needs us. We can each find our ways to hold, create, sustain, and nurture each other and our community. We will not give up on our dreams or the dreams of our ancestors and forebears who dreamed of a world of justice and interdependence and equity and generosity and transformation and pluralism that is sustained by the larger love that holds us all. May we take the energy and the love that we find here, and may it sustain and guide us in the coming days. Let us make the circle wide and all find our places in it. Amen, and blessed be.